Good morning, you guys. I am trying to get started with my day, and what am I looking at here? I don't even know. I thought I was looking at something having to do. Oh, here it is. Um, Something to do with Diddy. Is he Diddy or Puff Daddy? He has so many names. I mean, in the '80s, he was more like I think more like Puff Daddy, '80s or '90s. It was more like Puff Daddy, or then he became P. Diddy, and then Diddy, and now what is his name? Like, what should we call him? So I don't know what's going on. So I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like I have any information for you, my darlings. I'm actually looking for information from you guys. What is going on here? I've heard, like I see people like Murad and Tisa tells, talking about him and for quite a while, but I'm just not I just never click on those videos because it doesn't really interest me. You know what I mean? Um but then I hear that there was this big raid by the Homeland Security and his two sons were apprehended. And I was like, what? What's happening? I mean, when back in the late '80s, early '90s, I think is when I first heard about this guy, Puff Daddy. He was a rapper. I don't know his music, but he was a rapper because I'm not a rap girl, okay. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that without getting dragged, but I'm just not into rap. And although I liked Jay-Z's I love New York, the stuff that dreams of mine. Yeah, 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 yeah. I know, I like that. This I love with Alicia Keys. Is that a rap? I don't even know, but that's it. I digress. So generally I'm not a rap woman and I'm not a rap lifestyle woman. Absolutely not. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry. But I knew of Puff Daddy or P. Diddy or Diddy or Puff or whatever. And I remember the days when he was dating Jennifer Lopez, those days in New York, those heady days of the Jennifer Lopez era in his life. And I mean, you know, she was an up and coming star, really. And he was her first famous boyfriend. And I think he was very instrumental in terms of a shoulder upon which Jennifer Lopez was able to step as she climbed out the ladder. I mean, he was the first rung of that ladder, I think, because I don't think anybody before him had any sort of public persona or, was no none of her previous lovers, to my knowledge, was famous, right? P. Diddy was famous, and dating him because she was Latina and he was African American was like a big deal in those days. I mean, you know, the communities were not necessarily happy about the union for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? So there was that. And then I remember he was getting a lot of press at that time in New York. Because he had these parties in the Hamptons. And, going to the Hamptons in those days for people like Puff Daddy and his entourage was a big deal because they before them there really was no presence of rappers or even African Americans, really, frankly, in large quantities. In the Hamptons you may find an odd person here or there that everybody stares at, but they don't have ownership, they don't own homes, it's just like not a thing. So then in came the rappers into the Hamptons in, I think, the late '80s and '90s in New York, and this made the news. I think in New York Magazine, I think there was an article about how they had come to the Hamptons, and the sense I got from the article was that they were sort of in over their heads. These rappers coming in, they were being charged probably. The article didn't say this. I'm assuming they were being charged probably triple what the average renters were being charged at the time. But it wasn't in, they pushed into the Hamptons. And then Poppy later on became very famous for these parties he would have in the Hamptons where everyone would wear white And this would make the news, like even in New York Magazine, to my recollection. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because the Hamptons is a very, very, or was anyway, a very exclusive enclave. I don't know what it's like now, but it was a very exclusive enclave. And, you just didn't get in there easily as a person who was not in the favored group in society, if you know what I mean. And but after, so then as time went on though, Puff, he changed his name from whatever to whatever, and he got into the alcohol business, and the parties got more and more, and I just kind of like lost track of like what was going on with that story. And also I left the US as well, so I don't really have access to a lot of the celebrity gossip the way that I used to, and I'm just so much older, so I just don't have an interest in this type of stuff anyway. I mean, I follow the Duchess of Sussex because I find her to be a very interesting subject matter. And as I said, when I first got involved, it was because I felt like what was being done to her, she was being bullied so much by the UK media and people online. And I just felt like I needed to lend a voice of support, So that's how I sort of got involved with that. But other than that, I'm not really following the celebrity culture the way I might have, 15, 20 years ago when I was in New York. So I kind of don't know what's going on with Puffy. Is it Puffy, Puff, P. Diddy, or Diddy? What is he called these days? I have no idea. But I did hear that his house was raided, and I was like, whoa, this is really getting serious. You know, he has some really beautiful homes, is all I can say. I mean, but it's sort of very Gatsby-esque, right? Doesn't it? Doesn't he remind you of the great Gatsby? And it's funny because even back in the 80s and 90s in New York, when he was having all these white parties where everybody would have to wear white, I always thought he reminded me of the Great Gatsby, and I always thought this isn't going to end well. And it seems like, things are, I don't know if it's his end, but it certainly doesn't sound very good based on the little tidbits I can pick up here or there. As I said, I'm not following this very closely. Um, but yeah, so apparently overnight, Homeland Security raided one of his homes in Los Angeles. And some people are saying that people like Kim Kardashian knew in advance, they were tipped off that this was going to happen. And two of his sons were arrested, but Diddy was apparently not arrested, according to Murad Morelli. He was heading to, of all places, Antigua. What? And I was like, but he was, I don't know if he was not apprehended. I don't think he was arrested. Maybe he was detained. I don't know, or questioned, but he was heading for a private jet to Antigua. And somehow that trip seems to be off at the moment. Yeah, I mean, what can I say about all of this? Well, I guess let's wait and hear what the truth is. The truth will come out, and they're two sides to a story, right? He has been accused, it seems, of a lot of very disturbing things, very disturbing, if true, and there are very heavy consequences if true. And if not true, then hopefully he'll be able to clear his name. I mean, that's all I can say about this. Everybody has a right to be given an opportunity to prove themselves. You're innocent until you're proven guilty. You have a lot of people who jump to condemn someone, and sometimes maybe you need to sort of get the facts, and you need to listen to both sides and then make a decision. I mean, I don't know, but whatever it is, I guess we'll figure it out. We'll hear about it. Certainly not figure it out, but we'll hear about it. And yeah, so that's how I'm starting my day. I turn on my computer and I see that, we've got some stuff going on with Puff Daddy. Is it Puff Daddy or Sean Diddy Combs? Oh, it's Sean Diddy Combs. Oh, okay. So Puff Daddy or Puffy, I don't even know. I don't know how to do this, the title of this video, but that's it for this one. This is an aberration for me. I don't usually talk about anything like this, but everybody else is talking about it. So I'm like, oh, let me talk about Sean Diddy Combs too. But I'm completely uninformed. And I fess up to that at the jump. Okay. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye.